Or if you the entire thing.
I'm ready. I don't know if anybody else is, but.
Alright, so how many of us have ever had a flat tire?
Wow, too many times.
Well, I know I have, and I was nowhere near ready to change the tire. It can happen on the way to work, school, or just about any other engagement that you could have to go to. It seems like a basic step of growing up and driving is learning how to change a tire. However, there are people that really can't change a tire or don't have the basic knowledge to change a tire. The first time I had to change a flat tire, I was on my way home from a school dance. There was no boy in the car. I was told by my father to call AAA. I called them in and they told me it'd be 3 hours before they were able to get someone out to me. They offered to help me over the phone with instructions if I didn't want to wait. Well, I took them up on their offer in my formal and heels. It took me an hour to get it fixed right, or to get it fixed, and right as I finished, the tow truck driver showed up. He gave me credit for doing it in a formal in heels, and just from hearing the directions over the phone, just to take off your heels. It was an experience I will never forget. It taught me a valuable lesson that I should have paid more attention when my father was trying to teach me how to do it in the first place. So today, I'm going to convey to you how to change a flat tire. There are two major steps in changing a flat tire. They are jacking up the car and replacing the tire with a new tire. The first step is to make sure you're on the side of the road and turn your hazards on. Make sure you stop at a level spot because it is unsafe to jack up your car on an incline. Then locate your spare tire and your jack and get it out of the trunk. Then proceed to your flat tire with the equipment. Loosen the lug nuts and jack up your car to about 6 inches off the ground. Remember to put a block behind the opposite side of the tire so your car doesn't roll into it. Once your car is in the air, you can take off your lug nuts, then proceed to pull the wheel straight out towards you. The second step is when you change the tire. Align the holes of the tire with the bolts in the car, and push until you're unable to push any farther. After this is done, you can put the lug nuts back on in a star pattern, not too tight. The reason why you put it on in a star pattern is to make sure that they're all on evenly. After this is done, you lower the car back onto the ground. Then you tighten your lug nuts, and if you aren't strong enough, you can use your foot to tighten the lug nuts. Then you remove the back block from the opposite side of the tire. And you're pretty much done. Just make sure that you have all your material picked up, and then you're good to go. In conclusion, I have conveyed to you the two steps on replacing the flat tire. They were jacking up the car and replacing the old tire with a new one. I'd always been told that AAA are the people to call, but now I know that I'm capable of changing a flat tire on my own. I hope that you at least have a basic understanding of how to change a flat tire if you're ever faced with this type of situation. Will you have the ability to change it on your own, or will you have to call another person to do it? What will you do next time you have a flat tire?
Oh, right. Big mistake.
Richard, do you want some cake?
No, thank you. But I do appreciate the offer.
It's really good.
I believe you. It looks delicious. Trying to cut down on my hamburger consumption this week.
Terrible idea. I didn't increase my hamburger consumption. Protein.
Right, it's the brownie, right?
You use pain.
It's the brownie.
I love
Negative 1.
First, because I don't know. Get a coffee. I'm sure a lot of people are interested. Because I don't know. I'd like to know the basic knowledge. You want to get them like perfected. You gotta know how to make regular brownies first. You know, like you can't make regular brownies. He broke my glass.
That's the touchdown. You don't have a phone?
I never do that. I never do that. You can't make a call. Any of your friends.
One time, you know what I did? So I went to the gas station and I needed to get gas. And they
All right, Jayme, I think you want to lose the audience survey and just go with the story. The story works really well. Your goal is clearly stated. Excuse me. And you had a preview of what the content was going to be. I think one of the problems is that your visualization of the process requires that everybody already have a familiarity with the basic components of changing the tire. You don't really show people what it is you're talking about. You kind of expect them to know what the lug nuts are, what the start pattern's like, how to use a jack, taking things off, blocking the wheel. And I think this is a place where maybe some visuals wouldn't hurt at all. In fact, it would probably be helpful for anybody who is unfamiliar with those kinds of things. Although, like you found at the beginning, most people have probably already had a flat tire. What you didn't ask is how many of them have changed the flat tire. That might, if you're going to do a survey, that might be the one that you really want to focus on. Your legs are crossed from the beginning of the speech, and you look a little bit awkward. Your posture seems to be shifted to one side. Yeah, you do shift during the speech later on, but it just seems to shift to the other side. So you look a little bit odd, kind of poking one hip out and then the other hip out. You've got your hands in your back pockets during a lot of the presentation, and so as a consequence, there's not many gestures, and it's not as engaging as it could be. Your facial expressions could be a little bit more animated. I thought you were pretty good in the first part of the speech when you're telling us the story, but in the detailed sections where you're giving us the descriptive process of of changing the tire, you're pretty impassive, and I think that that's problematic. Your eye contact is also inconsistent. You do a lot of reading and looking down, and I think you want to engage the audience more. Like I said, when it comes to the visual materials, this would be a place you weren't required to have visuals, but I could see 3 or 4 spots where it would have made a lot of sense. We can hear you. I think same thing I've said to several other people, though. You need some energy and variety in that energy. Nothing that is problematic or that is a huge drain, except maybe the pacing. It sounds a little bit too much like you're reading, and it's regular, and it sounds almost like you're bored with the topic, which I don't think you want to be. And you've got a good, like I said, you had a good story to start with. There's an important reason why people might want to be able to do this, and so you need to make it sound like it's something that you care about people understanding, and not just a perfunctory presentation that you have to go through. All right, thank you.